At their most basic, light modifiers are anything that changes or blocks your light. We use them to brighten or darken areas of our scene, or to prevent light from landing on places we don't want it. In this lesson, we're using diffusers and reflectors to modify our light and comparing different colors of reflector. If you choose not to use diffusers and reflectors, you can't control your shadows and you just have to deal with whatever happens. Diffusers and reflectors are two of my favorite tools because they're easy to use and they put you in control. Diffusers are anything placed between your light source and your subject to soften light by reducing its intensity and spreading it out over a larger area. We use softboxes or umbrellas to diffuse artificial light. We'll talk about both of those later in this step. To diffuse natural light, you have a couple options. You can hang a white bedsheet or a translucent shower curtain over the window. If you shoot frequently, you may want to hang translucent white curtains instead so that your photo equipment doubles as attractive decor. Alternatively, you can use the scrim from a 5-in-1 reflector set. I'll talk more about 5-in-1 reflectors later. To soften shadows even more, the key is using a reflector. A reflector can be anything white or metallic that bounces light onto the far side of your scene to brighten it and soften shadows. This bouncing of light is why reflectors are also called bounce cards. Because they fill the dark side of your scene with light, they're also called fill cards. Here, we're using the all-white replica surface as a reflector and just leaning it against my setup. If you have two sets of replica stands, you can also create a semi-cube setup to hold up the surface you're using as a reflector. To create a semi-cube, attach one stand on top like this, attach another stand in the front like this. Since your reflector doesn't have to be completely white to get the bounce effect you're after, you can also use a white-based surface like white marble or sandstone if you have it. If you don't have any of those surfaces or you're using them in your scene, use a piece of white poster board or a TRIFOLD poster board. TRIFOLDs like this one are great because they stand up on their own. This is the same photo taken without and with a white reflector. The window is on the right and the reflector is on the left. You can see the shadows are more obvious in the photo without the reflector and are almost gone in the photo with the reflector. White reflectors act as neutral reflectors that are especially good for product photos. If you want to try another reflector option, grab a 5-in-1 reflector set. These sets come with a translucent round disc called a scrim and multiple slip covers that turn the disc into different types of reflectors. To use the scrim as a diffuser, simply set it up between your light source and your subject. You can lean it against the window or use a stand with built-in clips like this to hold it. To use it as a reflector, pop on one of the slip covers. White is neutral. Gold creates a warm golden tone that looks great with jewelry or summer-inspired food or products. Silver adds a cooler tone and helps create photos with high contrast between light and dark areas, so it's great for products. It's also great for black and white photography and anytime you're photographing light-colored objects on dark surfaces. For a more dramatic look, use a black bounce card instead. Rather than reflecting light and brightening the far side of your scene, a black bounce card absorbs the light that hits it and it deepens the shadows. If you already own a dark replica surface like slate and you aren't using it in your scene, it makes a great black bounce card. If not, use a piece of black poster board or a black trifold. Alternatively, some 5-in-1 reflector sets come with a black slip cover, so you can turn your reflector disc into a black bounce card. Here's the same photo taken with a white bounce card, with no bounce card, and with a black bounce card. We didn't change anything else here except the color of the bounce card. You can really see the difference. Here's another example using a dark surface setup. Notice how the black bounce card shrouds the right side of the bottle in darkness, while the white card reveals the full contour. And reflectors aren't just for eye-level photos. They're also super useful for achieving even lighting in flat light photos. When shooting flat light, either use a set of replica stands to hold a white-based surface as a reflector, or use a trifold poster board. So, to summarize, diffusers go between your light and your scene. They soften shadows by spreading light over a larger area. Your options include sheer curtains, bed sheets, shower curtains, or the scrim from a 5-in-1 reflector set. Reflectors are placed opposite your light source to modify the light hitting the far side of your scene. White and metallic reflectors bounce light to brighten your scene and soften shadows. Black bounce cards absorb light and deepen shadows. Action items for this lesson focus on diffusers and reflectors and discovering your perfect combination to achieve the shadows you love. These action items are key to building your lighting formula. Your first item is build your photo toolbox by getting a diffuser, a white bounce card, and a black bounce card if you don't have them already. Consider the options we discussed and choose ones that suit your space. Consider ordering a 5-in-1 reflector if you want to try metallic reflectors. Next, determine your optimal combination of diffusers and reflectors by taking photos using different combinations of them. Try diffusers, white bounce cards, and black bounce cards and mix them up. Analyze how the shadows change with each combination and which combinations you prefer. As always, you can refer to your workbook for more details and advice on each action item.